Hi, everyone. We'd like to welcome you back to the Mama Vegas Show. If you are new here, welcome in. I am honored today to have a special guest, someone who has not only captivated readers, but has also shattered the misconception of dyslexia. Please welcome two-time author Jermaine Seamon. How are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm good. How you doing today?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm super inspired. I think I had mentioned that with your writing and just this topic and this subject and just touching on it because it can be to some embarrassing, and some may feel limited with dyslexia, and you being able to show and ignite that passion and show that it still can be done and we can overcome those things is beyond inspiring. So again, thank you for coming on and sharing this journey with us.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So let's begin. Can you tell us what inspired you to become an author and share that moment that ignited that passion?
Actually, it was my wife that ignited that passion, that lit that fire, so to speak. I told her about this. I told her about me having being dyslexic, me having dyslexia, and then she said that, hey, your story is a testimony, and it should be shared with the world. So she convinced me to not only tell my daughter, but to tell the world. So, in telling my daughter, I decided to write a book about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There are several misconceptions surrounding dyslexia. What message did you aim to convey through your work?
Well, one of the messages I want to convey to my work is that even being dyslexic doesn't mean that you're pigeon-toed and held and need to be held back. You can do anything you want to do. You're no different than anyone else. It's just that you have a learning disability, a learning difference, and you learn things a little bit differently. And sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to comprehend certain things, but you shouldn't be held down or left back for any reason at all.
I agree. I agree. I think that is inspiring, when we can embrace those flaws, I guess people would say, in ourselves and make it beautiful, because we often shame ourselves away because of things that make us different from other people. And so being able to show that and step out, I think it shows other people, gives them that courage and that power to feel that they can do that as well. Do you find that um, when you're talking with people about your work that you can see that inspiration within them? Do you feel that you're pouring into their cups?
Oh, definitely. It's just the other day I was at a meeting and I was explaining to someone who knew me for years, hey, I had dyslexia, and they were like, oh wow, I didn't know. I would never know. I said, well, you never know by looking at me. I have 10 toes, I have 10 fingers. I look just like you. And he asked me, he said, well, don't you see words and letters differently? I said, no, I see words and letters the same way you see it. It just takes me a long time to comprehend what I see and how I read. So by doing that, by saying it to him, he was just lit up. His whole face lit up. He wanted to know more about me, more about my journey. He said, "Well, did you tell your family?" I said, "My mother and father knew, but other than that, no one really outside of that circle knew." Um, just last year, when I wrote the book, my cousins found out, and they were on the chat like, "Hey, did you know? Did you know?" I said, "I would never tell you guys because I didn't want to be labeled, as dumb, stupid, and have those negative terms put on me."
Yeah.
So I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. I never told my teammates when I played football for 4 years in high school and college. Didn't tell my coaches. It only was on a need to know basis I told people.
Yeah. And do you think that a lot of people in this day and younger people go through that struggle as well? I don't want to share too much just as a need to know because of that feeling that they'll be judged and labeled.
Yes. Well, back in Philly, I used to mentor a youth group, and it was very important to me to share with them my journey with the young men I mentored to. Like, hey, I understand some of the things you're going through, being bullied, being labeled, having those negative terms put on you, and saying you can't do this, you can't do that. And they would look at me like, well, you got a beautiful wife, you got a beautiful daughter, a nice home, a nice car, you're living the dream. I said, well, my life wasn't always that way,
Yeah.
and showing them my story and sharing my story with them, they took that and said, now, hey, you know what? I can let my light shine as well.
Yeah, yeah, giving pouring into people. I think it's like a trickle down effect, being able to give that, and see
Yeah.
we never know how we inspire other people. The motivation that we give into other people. So when you say that, it just resonated, and I can see just in your response that that means a lot to you to have been able to resonate like that with someone else. Can you share the inspiration behind your second book, The Little Bird and the Magic Oracle, and how it differs from your first work, your previous works?
Well, my first book, Daddy Be a Secret, Joy to Learn the Truth, was basically a conversation uh, between me and my daughter, interaction me and my daughter, me telling her about my my mental learn difference. But after I told her that, I decided to write another book. I was running one day and had a vision. Hey, you know what? I can write another book. The first book was easy. Then the second book got to be easier than that. Once you hit that first hurdle, you're like, it's got to be easier. Uh, I didn't know I was in for because as that first book was a conversation and it was real time and real life. The second book was about different characters and different people in the book. It had to do more character development. It had to pull from my life and pull different stories from different people and actually make a story out of nothing. So that was a little bit harder. And actually self-publishing this book, if it wasn't for my wife, I don't know where this book would be at right now because she helped me with the design, she helped me with the artwork. Um, she was the backbone pushing this book forward.
That's amazing, that support system, and her encouraging you to share with other people and get the story out. But not only, she's like, I'm walking this journey with you. What
Yeah.
an amazing wife you have. She is amazing. I spoke with her. I remember we spoke previous to this, and she is amazing and an advocate for you. So kudos and blessings to her. Um, how did you approach that character development and so forth when writing that structure? You said, with the struggles from the first book, it was, a piece of cake, but the second one was a little more detailed. How did you approach that?
Well, watching a lot of TV and reading a lot of comic books, especially reading comic books, you have your favorite character, be it Bruce Wayne, Superman, Batman, Flash, whoever. They have layers and layers and layers. So it's like an onion. So I just wanted to make sure that I unpacked each character with different layers. They have different backgrounds. They have different struggles. From the mother to the father to the kids to the animals. They all have different struggles.
Yeah, and I think that incorporating the animals and just the special touches in there, just to give everyone a little bit of something, for the parents, for the children, being able to resonate that story. When you go into schools or into readings, what is the reaction that you get from the children and the listening audience?
They're in awe. And I'm in awe about that they're in awe. So it's just a positive. It's just a positive thing. Vibe going back and forth. I can't believe that they're listening to my words. 'Cause I never thought that would be possible. Um, they're listening to me. I'm listening to them, and I'm getting the feedback like you really do like this. It's amazing when I hear my friends and family when they read the book. Like I didn't know you had this in you. I didn't know you had, and I didn't know. But you never
Yeah.
know what you tap into until you tap into that hidden gem that was inside you.
Yeah, and and get a little push, like you say, your wife, she's like, you can do it. Sometimes every other people will see more in us than we see in ourselves. And she
Exactly.
knew that you had a story to tell and where it would go. And how amazing if you would have just sat on that, her saying, no, you got to get this out there. Are there, as an author, how do you um, deal with the challenges in writing these books? How do you think that moving forward you will go differently in your next book?
Well, the next book is going to be a series, the series next to this one. So it'll be a continuation of this first series, this first book, The Little Bird and the Magic Oracle. So it's going to be more character development, more layers and layers and layers regarding the set design, the more of the forest, more of the house. So you'll see more where they go to school, with how they live, and actually how the adults and the parents and the kids see themselves. Because everyone takes the time out every once in a while to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, this is who I am." So you'll see more reflection in this story regarding the different characters. My struggles with this book now, with this new book, will definitely be having to layer on layer and not making the children so complex and so
Yeah.
rigid, making them fluid, and using my childhood and using a story from other people's childhoods who I grew up with, and try to put that into a melting pot and mix it up.
That's awesome. Yeah, that make a beautiful something, right? I like it. Can you just discuss your decision to create an audiobook version of your work? How do you believe that format enhances the reader's experience?
I'm glad you asked that question. Well, first and foremost, the audiobooks will be out in next week. Miss Ramona Moore, Big Eagle, she's a very great storyteller, have an amazing voice. I To hear my words coming through her mouth and hearing that audio is it's amazing. It reminds me of being a little kid in the library, and our librarian used to read to us. So hearing that story, and not hearing just the monotone, some people talking in monotone, but hearing her inflections and hearing her use different characters, use different voices for different characters, and making them come to life. So it's now you're involved, or you're in this world where the whole book is just around you, like surround sound. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah. Do you ever sit back and wonder and you think some teacher's reading my book to a student right now? A mom is reading my book to her child before bed right now. Someone's buying this book as a gift. Do you ever get almost starstruck by yourself like I did this?
My very first book, I have a coworker, and she said her children, her boys, will always say, "Can we read that one? Can you read that one?" She's like, "I read that last night. I want that one again." I'm like, wow. I said that, I met her. I never met her boys yet, but it was amazing just to hear them want to hear it again.
Yeah.
Everybody had their favorite story. Either the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, or Cinderella, whatever it is. You know, everybody want to hear that same. I want to hear that one story again because it reminded me of my childhood. Put me in that special
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we all have a book like that. And what's amazing is those books stay around and on the shelves and passed down. And so you
Exactly.
can think of your book is being passed down from generation to generation. Like it's amazing when we put work like that that stands even when we aren't here anymore. So a legacy to leave behind.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
amazing. For our listeners interested in obtaining copies of your book, can you share the various platforms that they're available for on?
Well, all the audiobook and the hardback copy is available on my website. I'll say it for you. It's www.seamonent.com. Once again, that's www.seamonent.com. You click on that. Link. Go to that website. That'll link you to the book. You can buy the hardback. You can buy my first book. You can buy my second book. You can also get the audiobook as well. For any of your listeners or anybody out there who want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is JKS_author. Once again, that's JKS_author. On Facebook is JKS-author. Once again, that's JKS-author. So if you want to know what I'm doing right now, that's what I'm at. That's what I'm doing.
And do you have any upcoming appearances or book signing events where listeners can engage with you and or learn more?
Yes, I have another engagement the 13th this tomorrow with P English Literature Show. I have a private brunch where I'm doing some book signings and actually intimate atmosphere on the 14th. There's a private event in Atlanta. I'm going to Chicago, Illinois at the Malcolm X Book Fair on February 2nd. And I'm going back to my alma mater, the first HBCU, Cheyney University of Pennsylvania, and both my books are being inducted into the Lefty Pinckney Hill Library. So
That
my
is
book is
amazing.
on campus. Yes, and that's the 29th. Then I'm going to Boston, and then I'm going to Huntsville, North Carolina in March and then in February. No, I'm sorry,
That
March and then.
is quite a book tour you have going on.
Yes. It's a lot trying to convince wrap my mind around and see where I'm going. Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm
It's
excited.
amazing, and congratulations on those accomplishments. That's amazing. I'm sure that you didn't think that you would be here so soon, with that, but we don't know what's supposed to be there for us. It's already pre-written. This was already in the making for you.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, this is already in the making. Um, is there any messages or anything that you would like to leave with someone who may be suffering from dyslexia, adult, a child who's feeling like they can't do it or they're feeling stumped or there's no way? What message do you have for those listeners?
Well, first of all, I would say this to teachers. If teachers out there do their job effectively, if you see a young man, young lady out there struggling, definitely pull them aside, see what's going on. If it wasn't for one of my teachers, I wouldn't be here today. She saw there was a disconnect, and she saw my writing, my reading, and she said, "Hey, there's something not really connecting here. I know that you're smart. I know that you're listening. I know you're paying attention, but there's something that disconnect." And she put me aside and got me the help that I needed. So for teachers, definitely look at your students. Don't take no for an answer. Try to figure out what's going on, because I could be anywhere right now, and I'm right here right now because she took the time out and she said she saw something in me. For parents, definitely do the same thing to your kids. Read to your kids. Find that love of literature. For adults who are struggling with dyslexia, and there's a lot of us out there. So don't think that you're by yourself. You have Hella Belafonte. You have uh, um, Muhammad Ali, Whoopi Goldberg, Albert
Yeah.
Einstein, Steve Jobs, Steven Spielberg. So there's different genres and different areas in which we're at, and we still are thriving and still contributing to society. So don't think like I have this stigma, I can't do nothing with it. You can't. You can get help.
Do you see yourself over the next few years coaching, mentoring?
Oh wow. I never thought about that one. No, I haven't. But you never know. You never know what God has in store for you. So right now I'm writing my books, and as people ask me to speak, I'm surprised that people still want to hear me do an interview. Like, you want to interview me? I'm not the kind of person that want to be in front of the camera. But as my life has now changed with these two books, I'm now finding myself in front of the camera, stepping into light that I normally shunned from. But now I'm embracing it.
Yeah, and I can definitely see you'll be making a lot of appearances. So you guys get ready. I'm sure there's more book tours and more books and a lot more. And just from our conversation, I'm in my mind, I'm like, I see some type of series. I see some type of movie. I see, just from talking, because you can do so much with your series. And so when I'm listening, I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for him to come out with this. I can't wait for them to write that script. I can't wait to see you guys on that red carpet, because that's where this is going for you guys. That's where this is going. There's only so many of us that are chosen as a vessel to deliver a message. We all can say things, but we're all not given the blessing to deliver the message. And being able to be a vessel for people with a learning disability, God picks and chooses what he wants us for. And I truly feel that this is about to take off for you. This is, like as your wife said, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This story has to get out. And so, you guys are amazing. I thank you for coming on and sharing your insight and your experience and your passion for advocating for dyslexia awareness and showing that it's nothing to be ashamed of, but to embrace. We're all uniquely beautiful and talented, and as you say, we all learn differently, and that doesn't make us any less than the other. And as those names you mentioned, it speaks for itself. Um,
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
speaks for itself. And you bringing this awareness through literature for children is beyond commendable, and your dedication is so enormous to what
Oh,
you're doing out there in this community. So
thank
I
you. Thank you.
truly appreciate that in having you on. Is there anything that you want to say to our future writers out there who are struggling, or who just decided, I want to, go and write a book? What inspiration do you have to say to them?
Definitely write about something that you love. Write about something that you know. Kobe Bryant once said that create a story. Everyone has a story. Some people have more than one. So if you write what you write about what you love and what you desire to see fruition, and then you put a passion, you put a fire behind it, it'll come out. So definitely write about what you love. My family is what I love, my family and friends. So I incorporate their story into my story and share with the world.
Awesome. Well, listeners, I like to thank you guys for tuning in today. I'd like to thank you, Jermaine, for coming on.
Thank you.
Again, please, listeners, reach out, touch those platforms, follow, share, go and grab those books and share those. If you have teacher friends, go buy those for their classrooms. If you have single mom friends, go buy those. Dads, go buy those books, guys. Let's get those out and get the word out in this awareness. Again, I appreciate you coming on, and until then, continue to live with passion and purpose.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.